Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to April the 25th, 2022, Scottsburg Board of Public Works and Safety. We're here in downtown Scottsburg, and we'll call our meeting to order, and we'll begin by a roll call by our clerk treasurer, Jan Hardy.
Mayor Amy.
Here.
Karen Gracious. Here. Tom Lewis.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Hardy. Next we have is the approval of the minutes of April the 11th, 2022. Does anybody have any changes that you've seen in the minutes? If not, we'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass them as presented.
Very good. Karen Gracious makes the motion to pass the minutes as presented. Tom Lewis seconds. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Next thing we have is the Mid-America Science Park deposit returns.
I think we're all good on that. I believe, and I apologize for my delay on this. But I believe that we are covered on that now. I believe, yeah, my understanding is I think we're good now. That was the one that we're going to refund. Do we
Okay.
need to take a motion on refunding any of those, or we don't have to refund any of them?
Yeah,
Just
we're going to refund some.
only if we're not going to. If
Okay.
you could just send an email, because we just try to get those done as if the rentals already happened.
And let's go down to the mass waivers. What waivers do we have?
Those are two waivers that are attached to your agendas, and those waivers are, one is for the Scottsburg High School boys basketball team.
Okay.
They were asking to host a dinner for an awards dinner at the Science Park for the players and their families. And on May 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. they've requested that be waived. And then the second one is Mike Sizemore from Pro Media Group in River Hills. They're asking to use the presentation hall and they're doing this to present research findings and marketing plans for Scott County. So it's a benefit of the county, and they're using that on, and they're asking for that fee to be waived as well. So that's the two mass waivers that we have.
Music okay for children? I don't know these people.
The Mike Sizemore, he's with River Hills Economic Development, and all I have on here is to present research findings and marketing plans for Scott County.
When's their meeting supposed to be?
They've dated this 4/18, but it doesn't have the exact date of the meeting on here.
That had been last week.
So I can find out more information. Oh, May 2nd, sorry. May 2nd, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So they're asking for a 1 hour. I apologize, it's hidden in there.
I would have to see, I think I would want to see more on that. Would you folks as well?
It's, they say they're not charging anything for this, so.
What is it for?
It says to present research findings and, yeah.
Who are they presenting it to, do you know?
And that I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if they're presenting it to the general public.
Surely not. 25 or 40 people. Just,
You think about it, Jim? So,
It's not pre-approved, but they're on the waiver, so I don't know.
it is great.
Well, I think I think that's selected to mark that as a for-profit company instead of a
I
non-profit.
see, yeah, the wrong box.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Yes, I see.
for
So
profit.
it is a profit.
Yeah, so,
It's Pro Media Group would be a for-profit group. River Hills would be a non-profit group. So I think that's why they selected the for-profit. Unfortunately, I do not have more information on this, but I can step out and find more information real quick if you guys would like, if you want to come back to it.
let's just continue on then. Let's go down to the software contract. Melanie, you want to head up that one?
Sure. We did some comparison on several different softwares. Kind of came in on Leslie had done some research back in 2019, 2000 time. And then, we're losing quite a bit of, or having trouble getting payment from a lot of our renters, so our delinquencies were rising to a large amount of money, so that kind of triggered us to look into a software. This software is gonna be like a prepaid allow the citizens to prepay on their bills, so like you wanna put $200 on your electric and use your electric till that $200 runs out, and then add more money as you go. What is happening now is the renters will leave the property, and then we'll final bill them, and we'll never get that recouped, that final last bill. So we looked at Tyler Services, PCS, Keystone with the Cloud, and NISC, did some comparison, and just none of the other softwares really got us to where we'd like to be. The NISC is able to provide us with the prepaid billing, which the other customers aren't. NISC is also able to network with the surrounding counties, to where if one of our, like say one of our final bills, we final bill someone and they decide to move to Washington County, they will not be able to set up a utility with Washington County until they pay our delinquent bill here. So we will be connected with Washington, Clark, I think Harrison, I can't remember all the other counties, but most of our surrounding counties are using NISC software. So we have a contract to,
That's before us tonight, isn't it?
yeah.
So let me jump in for just a bit. And Melinda's exactly correct. This was spurred on by a sizable amount. I've heard $510,000 of delinquents.
Whoa.
Am I correct on that or incorrect?
It's 470 right now, 478,000 right now.
And there haven't been any write-offs done, or no trying to collect through small claims court since 2016.
So this is since 2016?
That, yes, and, yeah, I think we're in
5 years?
And the bulk of this is basically folks who are renting, because by the time they pay $100 deposit, and then they move in, and then they're not gonna get their bill for a month late. So then, if they don't pay that, then they're into another month. So basically, they can get two and a half months in the city before we ever shut them off. And
So this is new software, if they prepay $200, does it cut them off after $200?
that
Yes.
cuts them off automatically. It's gonna notify you. It's gonna say, in fact, we had one of our employees, he says, I'm in Jackson County, he said, it lets me know I'm down to $50. And it says that if I don't have it by this date, if I keep using the way I'm going, it'll shut off at 2:03 o'clock in the morning when you get up. So,
The
so,
biggest thing that the citizens of Scottsburg will be able to go on and look at their bills, because right now, we don't have that. They can't go and, you can't go and view any kind of billing online currently. And I mean, that's just needed to be changed for, we gotta get with the times with that, so. A lot of our customers are, upset that they don't, this is the only, we're the only reason why we have a checkbook and this and that, we hear it almost every day, that, so getting that online them being able to pay online is gonna be a plus, and see the activity. You can go on and see your physical, how much usage you're using in your electric and water and sewer, how much consumption you're using on a daily basis, and
this software brings us in, it's a software designed for today's usage.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We have a software, this software can, if we have a water break like we had here a week or so ago, it would actually notify people that's in that area, to let you know that we've had a water break.
currently we don't have a mapping system with our software, but this software, we're gonna have a mapping for all the electric will be mapped, as well as the broadband and the water. So anytime that there's a break, like this last water break that we had, I mean, we tried to call the girls in the office and we tried to call everyone that we could, that we knew that might be affected business-wise, and let them know, and we tried to get messages out on Facebook. This software will actually email and text the citizens, everyone, and let them know where, without us having to try to determine. We were asking people, what address are you at? And then we were writing down the address and saying, okay, yeah, this lane is affected, and so we were trying to get a good list, but the software will show us. Well, actually, you'll be able to look online and there'll be a map and it'll be mapped out where the outages are.
This software is probably about half of what is owed to us right now. It's an expensive software, but it's about half what's owed to us or something. Maybe a little bit better than half, but it's right in that area. But the main thing is it will, and the city is beginning to litigate against people as well to collect past dues. But this software will stop a lot, will stop that. And it will have no more delinquency.
So will with this changeover to this new software, the delinquent people will not be able to sign up until they pay their bill?
Right.
Delinquent people, basically, if they get a meter, you're not paying a deposit, you're getting a meter. So if they have a delinquent bill, obviously we would probably want them to pay that delinquent bill as well before they would actually sign up.
But if they have a delinquency in another county that's using the software, the software will let us know that they owe Jackson County this amount of money, and then.
Sounds like a good deal.
And let me say this, we have vetted, there are 62 entities in the state of Indiana that are like Scottsburg, that we buy electricity and resell it. And Willie Daniels, our department, called every utility to see what kind of software they're using. And they're basically all using this. This software, what we're seeing, has been head and shoulders above everything else. We've had another one, I forget the name of it, but they came in and displayed their software to us. We had a couple of day meeting with them. And again, the time we buy the third parties that we need to do, it's basically about the same price as this one is. And this was tried and true. And it is, we've had one city that said they did not like this software, and everybody else has liked it. So one out of the city, but they've also had 4 softwares. So,
So we need a motion to approve.
Question that I would have is, Josh, legally, can we do that? Would there have to be an ordinance passed or something just to say you owe utilities somewhere else and we weren't? Is there any legal ramifications in that?
I'd have to look at that.
So what, we need a motion to approve the contract?
yes, okay.
I'll make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes a motion to approve the software contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Karen Gershi seconds. Art, what other questions do you have?
You've answered it. I mean,
I'm,
Okay, what I would request and explain, because it's doubtful that this board, you weren't on this because this was passed in 2017. We need something that is, so we're accountable to the State Board of Accounts to see how we prorate splitting the cost of this. So my office would suggest, what we are doing now is we just do it by the number of bills sent. It's just a simple process, send the bill out. But what I'm hearing is this software has many more bells and whistles. Some numbers that I have are old, but then Melina and I worked on this today and we're very close. What I would suggest to this board, we broke it down when we did the numbers a year ago, we broke it down according to the total number of receipts and the total number of receivables that we had. And at that time, electric bills about $10 million more than what our water and sewer do. And their receivables are about 5 times more than water and sewer. So it would be, what my recommendation would be to allow us to, once the annual report is filed, which is at the end of February, we have to have it filed, that on March 1st, of every year, we would prorate anything affiliated with the software or any monthly bills by a percentage based on the receivables that are on the book when we file the
To pay
annual
for
report.
this, you're talking about.
Pardon?
To pay for this, or?
Yes, to pay for it, and there is a monthly fee.
Yeah.
And see, right now, monthly fee was broken down by the number of customers. This is going to be a lot greater expense, so that was a couple calculations. And there's just a % difference in calculating it by receipts or by receivables. So, and Melina had some percentages, but I would like to get them, if that's what the board chooses to do, to be able to bill for this, because we have to pay 70% right up front of the 200 and some odd.
Okay.
So,
and I just add that to my motion?
Yes.
I add whatever Jan
that,
said.
yes, to prorate according to receivables filed with the annual report.
You second that?
And it would go into effect on March
You do
1st.
that? I second.
Made the motion.
Okay, we have a motion before us by Tom, seconded by Karen, that we go forward with the software, with that software being split, prorated to each department
With
according to you.
receivables filed with Gateway, and the prorate would be done on March the 1st of every year.
Yeah.
Thank you, and then we will have that, we will have it in the minutes, we could show State Board of Accounts, this wasn't a number,
Will we continue Keystone with that same rate? What will be left of Keystone? Will we
right
do
now,
that
the
with-
way that we only get an annual fee to Keystone is what we do. You know,
We'll
is what
still
we
do
get
it
now.
the 5 ways?
Well,
and
I think the worst answer I've heard is we've always done it that way. I think in looking at that, when we see how many programs we need there, we have broken that down 5 ways in the past. That's payroll, that's the kiosk, their assets, where we do our, all of our assets. So I think there's a way we might look at that when we get that bill. That would be, again, I would bring it back to this board to get approval to break it down that way.
Makes sense to me.
But yeah, this is just for this NC whatever, NCIS or whatever, yeah. There's gonna still be, I know what you're saying, there's gonna be some fees associated monthly because of the overlap
So,
with Keystone.
But this will,
We'll be paying Keystone and we're going to be paying them
for a while.
for a while.
Should just be like, I mean, portions of it would just be like for a month, but I mean, with the financial side of the staying on Keystone, will there be those monthly fees associated as well? I mean, we'll have to
No,
keep-
they will be paid once a year, just like we get billed for Keystone. We get,
Right.
our bill
It is
last
once
year was
a year.
14,000.
Yeah, once a year, but I had broken it down monthly just so they could see what they pay monthly.
okay, so we have a motion and a second. Anything else?
Does this impact the rates of the utilities?
No, will not impact any rate of the utilities at all.
Okay.
This one, the big thing here is basically, it's going to give this generation that's coming up that is so acclimated
Yeah.
to their computer. This is, they may have a phone app, but it's a computer.
Right.
And they're gonna get, this is how they communicate. So we can communicate, we're now putting a whole new communication out of transparency with the city with our consumers.
So how will the customer, will they get an email saying that you're, do they have to put an app on their phone, or do
Yeah,
they
it'll
have
be
to?
an app.
They have to put an app on their
That's
phone.
gonna be an app.
They,
What if they don't
the
have
bill
smart-
can be emailed out, mailed out, or you can use your app. you've got
It
3
can't be
different
mailed
ways.
out. So if they,
We will
person doesn't
still
have a
be
smartphone,
we will still be mailing those that choose to still don't go paperless. But if you choose to be paperless, then it can be emailed to you, or you can get on your app and pay.
Okay.
If you're a renter and you don't have a phone, that's a good question, Tom, they're gonna have to come here and pay, and the onus will be on them to keep up with it.
Yeah.
They don't have a phone, the onus will be on them, they can call here and say, yeah, you've got $20 left, or no, you've got $200 left. So, you know, and that goes all by itself, and it'll come on just as fast as it went off.
Yeah.
And all, the software does
There's
it.
not, probably not that many people that are totally computerless.
That's,
I don't know.
Most everybody has an email address now.
And I think in what Melina's asking, because there's going to be an overlap, I would suggest that with any Keystone billing bills that we get until we're completely switched over to this, that those bills would continue to be split like we're splitting them now. Was that kind of what your question was?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
I was saying. Depending on when you say the cutoff, depending on how far the implementation goes, they would still owe
Because
monthly,
they're gonna
basically.
still have monthly voice bills, so
Yes,
could you add to your motion, or you can make another motion that we could, however you, legal counsel says.
it's 2
best.
times a month
It's-
we pay voice.
I think we just pay them once, don't we, for our billing?
Every time the billing goes out is what I've seen. We pay, like this last month, I've got the bills here. So the beginning of the month, it was about 2,502, and at the end of the month, it was 2,458. I guess we must have had a couple of customers drop or
So
something.
does she combine them both for the delinquent ones, or? Anyway, what we're wanting is for any voice bills for billing in the interim be split at the old prorate approved in 2017.
This new software builds it out for you.
All right.
It's all done. So in other words, we're not, don't be,
But there's gonna be an overlap
There
from the
will.
old to the new.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah,
that's it,
that's
yeah.
my-
And right now, some of ours are paying $700 a month just to get their bills out. Probably water and sewer pay about that.
let's ask legal counsel, or no, you're taking all the notes, aren't you? So you're taking the notes.
I'm taking notes, but he's our legal counsel. Should we have those in 2 motions, or?
They're all on the same subject matter, and if you're got it jotted down in a manner that you're comfortable with, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom's making the motion and you got a second, then roll.
Second,
Okay.
if nothing else, we're gonna vote. Anything else? Hearing nothing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, unanimous, thank you very much. This will be a huge help for our citizens, and it's gonna bring us into the 21st century here, and we're planning on trying to go with automating our sanitation. This will be a huge help there as well. Next thing we have is a personnel with Jessica Jones. Jess?
What I have is Trenton Jeffries, who is with our electric department, has completed his line clearance class, which makes him eligible to be promoted from vegetation management fiber laborer C to vegetation management fiber labor B, because that's a step up. As they get more certification, they go up. And since he has passed his line clearance course, we're asking for approval to promote him to the laborer B position effective yesterday's date for the beginning of this pay period.
I will make that motion.
Tom Lewis makes that motion. Is there a
I'll second.
Karen Richards seconds. Just to add on, that does, what is it, a 30-cent?
That goes,
50-cent raise?
it's $1.24.
$1.24.
Was that effective
Yes,
today?
effective yesterday, and I will get that out to your office tomorrow morning.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you very much.
And I do have an answer from Macy in regards to the question that you had on the waivers, on the mask waivers. She said that River Hills Pro Media Group, that what he had said is that they are presenting the findings of the Scott County marketing report to the public, is what they're asking for that fee waiver for. It's a meeting where they're going to present their findings of the Scott County marketing report to the public. She said that's all he had put in his email about it.
So basically, they've done something, are they being paid for this, you know?
I believe they are. I asked her, was it the county that was doing the report, and she said she believes so. So, I don't know.
Community Foundation.
Is it the Community Foundation?
Supposed to be on there.
So, I was gonna say, I know there's been a couple of them doing a few different reports, but yeah, it's the Scott County Marketing Report.
From the foundation or from River Hills?
River Hills is the one doing the report. So they're them in that group, pro media group that's helping them or asking for the fee waiver for the meeting on the 2nd.
And it's an hour?
They have on the reservation form, it says time requested 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on May 2nd in the presentation hall for 1 hour. They're anticipating 25 to 40 people.
Okay, so there you have it. So what is your pleasure?
Can we vote on them separately?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of this one.
What's that?
Scottsburg boys basketball.
Yeah, we already passed that one.
No, we didn't vote on
We did not?
Mm.
Okay.
it. I'll make a motion.
Tom Lewis makes a motion to pass the Scottsburg boys basketball. Is there a second?
I second.
Karen Richards seconds. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous there. The next one then is going to be the
Pro media.
pro media.
I'm reluctant on that because they are for profit and somebody else is hiring them to do it, so
I mean, at this point,
it's just an hour. I don't know if everybody else wants to do it, fine.
if,
I have a little hesitation, yes.
if River Hills is doing it and they've paid this company to do it, we haven't paid them, but if Scott County's commissioners or councils paid that, and they're here to present that to us, then go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're assuming that it's the county. It could be the Community Foundation. I don't know which one of them has done it, so I don't want to speak out of turn. She led me to believe it was the county, but it could be Community
Seems to me
Foundation.
like that whoever hired them is the one that should be asking for the waiver.
I sent Jamie a text to see if they did it.
Okay.
I mean,
Have you heard anything back from her?
No, I just sent it.
Let's just keep on going, then we'll follow up with this. Resolution 2022-R1-1, resolution to designate a city employee to represent the city in small claims. Josh, did you?
It can be me. The state law requires that if there is a small claims matter over a certain amount, that the entity have a resolution giving whoever is going to be representing the entity that's not an attorney the power to do so in court. So Melina, Stacy, Chantel, and Lauren will be given the authority to file the small claims actions that we were talking about earlier and prosecute them.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Tom Lewis makes a motion to approve resolution 2022-R-1, designating a city employee or employees to represent the city of small claims. Is there a second?
A second.
I assume you've designated those people, you knew which ones were designated.
Basically, I think it's going to be Melina in the utility office who will head that up, so it would either be Melina or her designee, one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you got
Lauren
the right
and Chantel are both in our office, and are gonna go to, Lauren has been the one who's done it in the past, and, she's currently training Chantel to,
Okay.
do that, so she's gonna be the one that goes, but they'll, be foreseeing that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you had the right people on if you needed more. Now's the time to put them on there.
Yeah.
So,
Stacy's been on there,
She's on this one.
so she's
Okay.
being let
I'm
there.
good with it.
Okay? So Tom makes a motion, and Karen second. Okay, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, okay, very good. That passes. Next thing is the SWIFT consultant agreement. Clerk Treasurer.
Okay, this agreement, upon approval, will be with the Wheatley Group, who will be working with Midwestern Engineers on our $4 million SWIFT grant. And what their role will be, is to be sure that all these companies, there's 4 different projects in this grant, but that all companies are abiding by the Davis-Bacon prevailing wage law. So, with that being said, this will be paid out of the grant, and it's $10,000 would be for their services. Mhm.
I make a motion.
Karen Bishop makes the motion to approve a consultant agreement with the SWIFT grant. Is there a second?
I will second.
Tom Lewis seconds. Any other questions about this? If you heard none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
To approve that and get the mayor's signature on this.
And this was a $4 million grant that was awarded to City of Scottsboro. So the consultants make sure the i's are dotted in the right spots and the t's are crossed. Okay, the next thing we have is the claim approval by our clerk treasurer.
Okay, I would be open for a motion to accept the claims as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Karen Bishop makes the motion.
I will second.
Tom Lewis seconds. Are there any questions by the claims? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Jan, what else do you have for us? Anything?
I have nothing.
Okay. Josh, you're up. Do you have anything for us?
Not that I'm aware of.
I can talk.
Chief, you're up, buddy.
I'll let Josh talk.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
I was
Okay.
just talking to the chief outside, he said he had a whole lot to present tonight.
Well, that's
So
what I-
I'll defer back to him.
That's what I thought he was saying as well. So, did you have a nice birthday, Chief?
I drove 6.5 hours, wonderful.
Had with your family.
Yeah, I did.
And rejoice with them. That's awesome. Amen. That's a blessing. You'll miss that one of these days, buddy.
So we gotta come back to this.
Okay, this is the Mike Sizemore Pro Media / For the Hills.
I apologize, I'm looking at a text right now in regards to it.
See anything, Carmen?
Yeah, I actually sent it to Jess, but Jamie said that it's all through River Hills. She doesn't think they're doing it on behalf of the county government, but she's not really sure. It's not through the foundation though.
So do they just do this on their own? Nobody asked them?
I mean,
I think there's a lot of confusion there.
There's lots of.
Seems like nobody knows what they're doing, so.
we basically, if it has to do with our students, we basically have been waiving, I've been real hesitant on things like this. If it's just 1 hour, there's no setup, because those are already it's like fitting side seating is sitting down in the seat. So,
So if you're like, I don't care.
it's one of those things that,
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
You
So
want it?
I need, yeah, copy, I get this signature.
so,
I think he has to do it visually. You look at the front,
Okay, I'll make a
Survey
motion.
share.
like on the fourth, fifth page.
My records,
It's like on the fourth or fifth page.
let's
Circle that, I think.
Let's go forward with if you don't mind, with a motion to, Tom made,
I'll make a motion, waive that fee per hour.
and if I
I'll
get a
second
hold of
it.
him and find out there's something that they're making money on this tonight, then I'll call you.
Okay.
So, we have a motion, a second, it's a motion by Tom, second by Karen on the Pro Media Group, and, any questions or
Down
comments?
to the bottom.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Yep, good.
Just I want to call him in a minute.
Okay, I'll put them on.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, the next thing we have,
Down towards the bottom. It's supposed to be digital, so I don't know if it's on there or not. Like, he'll have to
so
go.
will they send us a completed one?
One
Yes.
50,000.
Um,
It's all digital, so they'll send us the completed one after we sign online. Did you find it?
Yeah, I found the amount, that's good. I was wanting to get one, his signature, so we have it.
Chief, you have any
I'll make
announcements?
sure you get it once he gets it.
Chief, you got any announcements for us tonight? You got any closures or anything going on with the Scottsburg PD, parades? Okay,
Nothing, sir.
okay. Jan, do you have any announcements or anything? Okay.
I have nothing.
Does this board have anything to do with the courthouse possibly moving to the mass park? I just say no.
I don't, I would say no.
No, okay.
Like with most things, it depends.
I'm sorry?
It depends.
It depends.
That's the legal answer with what I know at the moment.
Okay.
You missed one big thing, you go ahead, we'll let you have the floor.
On the announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm down for announcements. So
What you
we have two different things, two announcements to make. One is our, Jill Baker, by the way, has gotten hurt. So you might keep her in your prayers. She's gonna be out for a little bit. And, but in her effort, she's so far written grants, 2 grants for the city of Scottsburg. We've received $2 million. She now has written a 3rd grant. We just were notified this past week that we will be awarded a third of $2 million. So 3 years, $3 million. Thank you, Jill Baker. And with this money, we can pave the remainder of Scottsburg. This grant also has sidewalks in it. So we're now going to be putting sidewalks around our newly paved roads. That's kind of like a picture frame around the picture, and it's going to be wonderful. And so we're very thankful, first to the Lord, and using Jill to be able to get this. And thank you, Governor Holcomb, and all those at NDOT that help award these grants. It has been a huge plus for Scottsburg as we're going forward with our economic development and housing. And this is putting roads in for housing and rehabilitating our new roads, so it's just a wonderful thing. The second thing I always wanted to bring about is we had a terrible water leak. I believe it was on a week ago tomorrow, which would have been last Tuesday, which I think it's the 19th. I was notified basically around 7:45 or so, 7:40, 7:45. We had a bad water leak. Our Scottsburg Water Department was dispatched out there, and we have a brand new Cat backhoe, and it can usually dig 3 inches of asphalt, 6 inches of asphalt, 12 inches of asphalt. This was between 3 and 4 feet deep. We could not continue. We ended up having to hire contractors to come in with an excavator with a jackhammer on that. We began jackhammering, and that asphalt was between 3 and 4 feet. Once we got down to it, we had another excavator being able to take the debris off into piles. We then came across an old concrete container that contained all of the switching works for a previous stoplight there that had been just left in there. So it wasn't being used now, so that one we were able to get rid of. We continued to dig down, and we did find it was in a 10-inch steel water line. When we found it, right on top of our 10-inch water line was a 3 to 4 inch gas line with Midwest Gas. So this is, we've got a hole that is from your index finger to your ring finger in width. In the height. The width was probably about a foot or so, and it was just pouring water out. And at this point, we had to hire another contractor to come in from North Vernon, and they put a hot tap in. In doing that, they were to take that water and put a valve in down the way. And in doing that, they call it a credit card, but you got that piece of metal. And where that piece of metal was at, we got that out. But anyway, when we finally got everything cleared out, once we found that, naturally the water leak was back further, so we had to continue to do that. Because the gas line was there, we went out and got about 30 old tires. And we took plywood and cut this up, so we didn't want the asphalt falling on that gas line. This gas line provided all the gas to part of it to Henryville and the other part to Memphis, So we had four Midwest Natural Gas guys out there as well. So we were able to place the rubber tires, which would act like a softener to that heavy asphalt falling on it, and then the plywood to help direct it away from those lines. So it was a very tedious, and then when we found it, we had to continue back, and then we had to continue back over to the east of that. We found it had like a little hollow cavern in there, but we can't send a man back in there. So we finally got it exposed. We were able to put a 2-foot cap on this thing. It's like, it goes over it with rubber on the inside, just caps it. You had 6 big bolts, and they were all stainless steel bolts, stainless steel nuts on that. That was all done. We got it on, got it completed. I left there at probably 11:50, and less thing to become, because our department head wanted to put rock back in there so we wouldn't have the big cavern, so he brings rock back in there, and about 45 minutes to an hour later, it blew another hole about 6 feet down from that one. So the time we got that one completed, it was 4 o'clock the next day before we got it completed. What we felt happened here is where we took the hot tap off the way, because this was right at the base of the state of Indiana salt depot right there, that teepee thing. So what we found is that was all concrete base and cracks in it, and water was coming out from that base on pipe. So where that pipe was at, it was pitted out bad, but where we took it out was good. So what we're going to end up doing, we end up putting another tap on that one. So what we're doing now, we're ordering about a 50-foot long, it's about 1 inch thick of a heavy plastic that salt will not interfere with. And we're now installing that. We're getting ready to install that. That will be a planned outage, and we will let our residents know when that will happen. And because it's in a water tank and we don't have an open hole that's leaking, we should be able to continue to satisfy all those customers with the water's already in the tank. That was our problem. That even though we had it shut off, that water kept gushing out so bad. We tried to fill it up so people could have a little bit of water, and the water just ran out of the tank as fast as it was coming in. So it was kind of a perfect storm. So we apologize. And again, this type of software that we're buying can actually contact people. Our phone lines, as you can well imagine, were just lit up like like a switchboard.
Christmas tree.
Like a Christmas tree, exactly. So, yeah.
Turn it on.
So anyway, those are 2 announcements, one informational and one just a praise the Lord, for $1 million. So anyway, that's what's happened, and there goes Ray Dawson, our code enforcement officer. So thank you, Ray. And so anything else do we have for this evening? Yes, we do. You have the floor.
There will be the Heritage Garden Show this Saturday.
Yeah.
Hours are 10 to 2. We have speakers every half hour that are scheduled, and you can learn about bees, edible weeds, and all sorts of interesting things. And we'd like all of you to come, and we're going to have biscuits and gravy.
Ooh. So 10 o'clock this Saturday at the Heritage Museum
At the Heritage Museum.
on South Main Street, right across from the National Guard.
Should have about 30 booth vendors there.
30 booth vendors. Will the flea market still be going on, or
We will have the barn open. The farmer's market does not open officially until mid-May, but that structure is being used for this event.
So these are posters that are going out?
Yes.
Doesn't give the date on there.
It's this
We'll
Saturday.
blame Chris Wakeman.
It's got all the
That is
times, but not the
Saturday,
date.
April 30th.
April, is it 29th or 30th?
30th.
30th. Okay, April the 30th then. So that's going to be Saturday, April the 30th.
Okay.
And
Come early for biscuits and gravy.
come early for biscuits and gravy. Marty is making her famous top secret grandma's gravy. Is that right?
No,
No.
I'm not in charge of that. I'm making cinnamon rolls
Sounds
and
good.
brownies, I think.
Marty says she's making yum rolls.
Yeah.
Right? Yum rolls with cinnamon, for sure, for sure. So please come out. If you see it, It's the one with the butterflies or flowers, Heritage Gardens. So thank you so very much.
You are
We
so,
hope you have a great turnout.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
and no rain.
And no rain, hallelujah. Yeah. You show people how to collect the honey or anything?
He appeared, it's going to be Tracy, I know it says, oh, I can't remember the gentleman's last name. Anyway, he had to step away, so Tracy Stewart Montgomery is going to come and talk about how to start a hive, how to maintain it.
Will they be selling any honey?
Yes,
Well, you know what, I'm gonna see the governor here in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna buy him, I'll come and buy some honey, Scott
That's-
County honey to take to the governor. How about that?
that will be
There
great.
you go, that's what we'll do, that's what we'll do. So,
Can't tell where it's at either. It just gets the times, it doesn't get the date or the place.
see, it's a,
See, Chris just knew where
Yeah,
everybody would
Chris
be
knew
on
that.
Saturday morning.
He didn't ask me to
They're
learn
not
that
at the
before.
ball fields, they're at the museum.
it's, if you don't really, if you're from here for a while and you don't know where that museum's at, it's the old Poor Farm. It's a beautiful facility, it's been renovated, and a nice property. So come out for a nice Saturday morning of fun, food,
And bees.
and bees. Yeah, and get your honey, that's right. So, well, thank you so very much. Anything else? Chief, you have any kind of motions for us?
I'm on the motion, Tom, but you better get it.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Karen makes the motion, folks, for adjourn. Thank you so much. City Council here in 15 minutes or